In this video, I'm going to show you several things related to sample standard deviation and the sample variance. We'll start with just the sample standard deviation if you want to calculate that for a vector, and I've loaded up this vector x already. You're just going to hit on SD, and then you're going to type in x or whatever vector you want to get the sample standard deviation of, and then you just run that line, and you'll get the sample standard deviation there. If you wanted to get the sample variance, there's a command VAR, and you just type this in here and you'll get the sample variance. Okay, and then related to these two are two other values. First one is going to be this thing called the covariance. And so if I wanted to get the covariance of x and y, I just type in here COV x comma y. So this takes two values or two vectors as arguments. And if I run that, I'll get the covariance. Notice that's 2.714. And now something interesting that goes along with this, you can get away with just putting in one argument here, as long as that argument's a matrix or a data frame. And I've loaded up a data frame already, and that data frame ends up being just something with two variables, the x and y vectors I have there. And so if I type that in instead, type in a data frame with this, what this will do is actually calculate what's called a variance covariance matrix, or a variance covariance, or covariance variance. I don't know, I keep saying it backwards there. What you'll get on here is a matrix back, and in the first spot it'll give you the variance of x. In the second diagonal spot it'll give you the variance of y, and in this spot here and in this spot here it will give you what we already calculated as the covariance of x and y. So those are some related things. You can get the sample standard deviation, the sample variance, the sample covariance all as individual things, or you can get the variances and covariances, the sample variances and sample covariances, I should say, all as one thing if you enter a data frame or a matrix of some sort. Now, other thing related to these guys, let me clear this out here, is something called the correlation. And this is going to take two arguments if you just have single vectors. And so if I run this, I'll calculate a correlation. And then this works the same way as the covariance. It's actually related to it. But if I do the correlation of a matrix or of a data frame, it'll actually give me back a matrix also. And what you'll get here is with this, you're always going to get ones on the diagonal. And then you'll get correlations on the off-diagonal things. So this is the correlation between x and y here. And you can do this with bigger data frames, with more columns in them, and it'll still work for you there. Anyway, so that's how you can go about calculating a bunch of sample standard deviations, standard variances, sample variances, and things related to them, like the sample correlation and the sample covariances.